Jordan, how much has Parnell solidified things for you guys in the secondary on the other side?
I mean, you saw it on tape. He's all the nicknames we've given him, DC Island, you know, it all came into fruition this Saturday. You saw it. He made a big-time play in a big game, and that just kind of separates you from, you know, everyone else when you can do things like that, especially as a sophomore.
Jordan, when you think about the number of true freshmen that you guys have Robert out there after Will gets hurt, obviously Kenneth starts the game, and younger guys, first and second year guys that played a significant role, how do you sort of wrap your head around what they were able to do Saturday night?
I mean, it's huge, you know, just being a freshman and then coming in here and playing at the high level that we play. But at the same time, it's what we do here at Oklahoma. We train all of our guys, whether, you know, you're a redshirt freshman, redshirt senior, you're a fifth-year senior, or even like we got true freshmen starting here for our team, and even a lot of them getting a lot of play time. It's just something that we take pride in, you know, no matter who, you know, we say this chant, "We too deep," and that's just kind of like what we just try to portray it, you know, day in and day out. You got all the guys, you know, whatever level they are. And, you know, like you said, we had Will go down, we had Rob go down, and we even had all of our, you know, safeties, literally everyone we had almost rotating the game. And that's just something we take pride in as a team. You know, no matter who we put in the game, they're going to be prepared to play.
When guys like Robert and Kenneth and whoever else in the last year or two came in as recruits, did you sense that maybe there was something about those guys that would enable them to play earlier in their careers like they have?
That's hard to say because, I mean, at OU in general, everyone comes in here with talent, but it's just like the thing that separated those guys from, you know, everyone else is just their need to know about the game. You know, they all wanted to be sponges, all wanted to figure it out early, wanted to grasp the concept, always wanted to watch film and just kind of learn the game from our perspective, just because we've been in the positions and we have a little bit of knowledge to give, and whatever we can give, we can use to help them. So the only thing that I feel like solidified them or separated them was just their knowledge and they just want to know the game.
Jordan, I know last year was last year, but after that Tech game, when you guys gave up 59 points, the next 8 games, no one's hit 30 points on the defense. The momentum from last season carry over to this year. You guys have only allowed 2 touchdown drives this season also.
Yeah, more or less, but at the same time, like you said, that was last year's team. We have a new identity, and I feel like just as an entire defense, we're closer. You know, it's just such a close-knit group, and it's just like I said that. I'm sure a lot of us have said that last year, but it's like this year, it's real. You know, it's a genuine brotherhood, and it's just like no matter where I look, no matter where I turn, if I need advice or even if I need help, or even if someone needs help, whether they're linebacker, D-line, or safeties, or whoever it is, it's just like we can all come together as one and just mesh well. It's not a forced thing. It's not like we have to be together, so we're going to have to like each other. It's like we genuinely want to be together with each other all the time, and so that kind of helps us and just it translates well.
Where does that closeness come from? Is that from having gone through everything together last season? You mean, you know, you bring new guys in too, but where do you think the difference kind of is there?
I feel like it just, in my opinion, I feel like it just comes from the mindset of the younger guys that come in here. They want to be a part of it more, and it's just like, for whatever reason, you know, just with the things that we have been through, like you said, it's just like we all want to be a team first and be able to know each other first and know the ins and outs of ourselves before we can understand what we're physically capable and you know, capable of just putting out on film. And so once we figured out, oh, okay, well, you know, I know this guy well enough to know that I can trust him to do this, or like you know, it's just we have a mindset that we want to be great so bad, and we've had the weapons and the tools and the coaching, we just haven't put it all together yet. And we knew that there was one thing missing, and it's just like once we figured out that we just needed to be closer as a unit and as a brotherhood, you know, we took that and ran with it, and obviously that translated to what we have done so far in these first 2 games, and hopefully it'll translate the rest of the season.
When did you start feeling that difference on this defense?
Honestly, early in the summer when you just start realizing that we got young guys coming in and just, you know, picking up the game and just you just kind of get a feeling inside of you that, hey, you know, like what I'm saying to these guys carries weight, not just because I'm an older guy, but because we respect each other. Like I respect him enough to want to help him, and I understand that he's just not some knucklehead freshman, or like they're trying to say like he's not just some old vet that's just trying to tell me what to do. He's genuinely trying to help me, and that's what we learned as a team and as a unit, that everyone on this team wants the exact same goal. And if that's the case, then why don't we just unify? Like that's what teams are supposed to do. But like it's different in today's world. You don't see it very often, but we tried to just come together as a unit, as one, and just work as a well-oiled machine. You know, every moving part needs to be on up to par so that we can, just play at the level that we play at.
When you were a freshman, how much of that went on, 4 years ago?
It was different. It was way different, and I don't know whether it was people, I love all of our guys, but, a lot of guys, in my personal opinion, I love everyone that's been through here and whatnot, but I just felt like it was more so of I need to make sure that I know what I'm doing so that I can perform at the highest level. And it wasn't like they didn't love us or didn't want the best for us. It was just that, they put too much weight on themselves to make all the plays or to play every single down. They didn't understand, or they didn't allow us to feel like we were able to help them as much as, we probably could have. And therefore, instead of us being a super strong unit, we had a super strong first unit. And then once guys started getting down with injuries, the back half of our lineup just not necessarily wasn't prepared, but just didn't have necessarily the guidance or just the experience behind playing.
Jordan, what about the game plan on Saturday night? It seemed like Mike and the rest of those guys really enabled you all to play at an optimal level. What did you see out of those coaches in the days leading up to Saturday?
Just attention to detail. It's not like we had a super amount of calls in. We just made sure that if we had a call in, we knew how every single way that they could motion, they could, jump motion or blah, 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 whatever. So we just knew that regardless of what they did, we knew how to adjust to it, and we made sure that we were aligned and our assignments were correct. And one thing we harped on is doing your job. You can't win a game if you're trying to do everyone else's job, because obviously you're not getting yours done, and then that leaves a hole in the defense. And we called those cracks in our foundation, and we try to eliminate all the cracks and just make sure that we're all, just like I said, just doing our own jobs.
Mike's such an emotional guy, or at least during games. I assume he's that way, but I just do. Did you see him being very much the same in the days leading up, or was he different? I mean, what sort of approach did he have to this game?
Mike's one of the best in the game, and I can say that obviously from being here 4 years, and it's just Mike's Mike. He's going to be him all the time, but I feel like to an extent he not only calmed down, but tried to help us understand it even more so than he has in the past. And it's just like him going the extra mile to make sure that for every little thing they do, we know exactly what to do. It's every repetition in practice. He's granted, that's Mike's Mike. He's a high energy guy, and so even in practice he's yelling, but at the same time he's coaching, and that's just obviously we can dissect that now. He's just passionate about the game, and yeah, he's fidgety, spastic Mike, which is awesome. I love it wholeheartedly. I love everything about him, but it's just like I feel like he went the extra mile to make sure all his guys knew where they were supposed to be at all times.
He admitted after the game, he said last year in this matchup, he did not do a good job coaching you guys. Those were his words, and you could sort of sense like he was challenged by that. Did you guys sense that as well?
We knew we were all on a mission, and regardless of what we had thrown in front of us, what Mike, put into play, we were going to believe it, and, we're going to take it and just put it into play. I mean, regardless of whether he told us, hey, we're going to play man-zero coverage the whole entire game, we were going to all right, well, that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our identity of this game. Then we're going to go out there and do that for you, because obviously we know that you know what you're talking about, and we just have to go out there and translate it.
You mentioned the brotherhood and how important that is and the effort that went into putting that together. It's one thing to say, okay, we need to come together. It's another to see it come to fruition and see it executed and have it have that kind of an impact in a game situation. What does that mean for you, and what does that mean going forward for this team?
It sets standards, and I say that meaning that we now know that what we are capable of doing. Ohio State's a great program. They have, just as many wins as anybody, just as many national titles as anybody, just as many Heisman winners as anybody else. And for us to go out there and play the way we did, we obviously know that, okay, this is our standard. This is where we are going to hold ourselves for the rest of the year. Like, no one else should get anything if they're not, coming out just throwing hooks, and it's just how our identity is going to be. We're not going to give up anything. We're not going to play down to anyone else's level, because now we know where we are as a defense and where we are as a team. We know what we can do. We know what we're capable of. Heck, we didn't score a single touchdown in the first half, but yet in the second half we came out and Baker was lighting it up. And that's just with all of these receivers that aren't, up to par, so to speak. That's what people say. But, we got guys, and we have a plan, and we know what we're capable of at the University of Oklahoma.
Coach,
Coach Riley mentioned telling you guys right after the game, hey, beating Ohio State doesn't need to be the highlight of this year. So when you talk about moving forward like you just did, what's it mean to hear that from the head coach right away?
It knows that he has. It lets us know that he has aspirations and plans for us in the super long run. And like this is post regular season or post conference play. He obviously, just like every coach, he wants to win a national title. But like you said, this is not the highlight of our season. We're going to go ahead and take it game by game and see where that takes us all the way to the national championship if that's what life brings us.
You guys
I know
really
it's
seem
not
to
your-
embrace the underdog role kind of going into this, and then you won, and now you're second in the country. How do you keep that edge moving forward now that you've sort of gotten some respect?
Well, just like you said, we're second in the country, and we're not going to stop until we're number one. That's just what we take pride in. There's only one Oklahoma, and we, as the University of Oklahoma, want to be the best in all levels and all aspects of the game. And if, like you said, we're still number two, that's not what we want. We want to take this all the way to the end and end up on top.
Jordan, I know it's a different position group, but can you talk about Ruffin McNeil's impact just to the defense through 2 games?
Heck, you've seen how Obo's been playing. You've seen how our D-line's been playing. You've seen the pressure, the time that quarterbacks really haven't had much to throw, and it's been huge for us on the back end just because, granted, we've stepped our game up tremendously, but at the same time, with them stepping their game up, there's less time for them to throw, the quarterbacks to have time to throw the ball, and when they do, it's errant passes, and, with our coverage being what it is, it turns into a lot of coverage sacks, and it turns into a lot of guys just fighting no matter what. Those guys don't quit. And if you can turn on the film, you'll see those guys run into the ball no matter where it is. You got guys like Neville, guys like, obviously Obo and Romar, and just guys just flying around and making plays on the edges of the defense, like sideline to sideline. And those are guys that start off in the core, and it's just Ruffin, just as a person, his personality has, I feel like, just rubbed off on those guys, and their want to is just at a high that I've never seen before.
Coach, the other coach, Stoops, seemed to enjoy Saturday night a great deal. How much did you enjoy his reaction?
I loved it just because, he uprooted himself out of our lives, not in a negative way, but, it was just his time to go and retire as a coach. But just seeing him at the game and supporting us all the way in Columbus, Ohio, and just being able to see him a part of this because it's very, just as much as it is our win, it's his win too. He, in short, he built this entire what we have now to today. And so Lincoln Riley being the great coach that he is and taking over for him, it was a great win for him, but at the same time, Bob gets to celebrate it too because he recruited a lot of us. We're still his guys, and obviously he's still in the program. So it was huge to see him so excited, jumping around, even though he's already had a hip replacement. It's lovely just to see that we can put a smile on his face.